Hi guys, it's Crystal here with Critter Chat with Crystal. Have you guys ever wondered how hot is too hot for your dog? Have you ever just ran into the store really, really quick just to go grab something and left your dog out in the car? Well, today we are going to talk everything about heat and overheating and with the signs of overheating. We're going to kind of break everything down for you guys and give you the answers that you need when it comes to the heat because it is getting hot outside. Yay! Finally. Today I am here with the fabulous and wonderful Nicole Packin. Hello, Nicole.
Hi, Crystal. How are you?
I'm good. Nicole lives in Miami, which I am like so jealous about, by the way. Love Miami. Um, so why don't you kind of introduce yourself and give us a little background? Tell us a little bit about your furry family and your business, and kind of like your expertise.
Okay. Hi. Hello.
Hi.
I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Crystal. My name is Nicole Brown Packin. I'm in Miami. I am the CEO and founder of Miami Pet Concierge. We are a full-fledged concierge service for pets, and we cater our care based on the client's pet's breed, age, and health. We offer a wide suite of services: dog walking, cat care, transportation to the vet, the groomer, play dates, overnight care, etc. But we cater to the pet's quality of the experience and not a time clock. I feel that all animals are like kids. Their treatment should be different. And so we base our care on that.
I
My
love that.
Thank
That's
you.
fantastic. I really
Yeah.
love that. So when you say like you have like you cater to the breed, do you do like something different for like a different like a smaller dog, or is it like the size of the dog or the actual breed?
Good question. To me,
Yeah.
it's based on breed and age and health, like I said. So, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, talking about heat, if it's a July summer day in Miami and I'm dealing with a 15-year-old pug, I'm not necessarily going to run that pug for 35 minutes outside in Miami. I'm going to let him go outside for what I call a bumblebee walk, which is sniffing apron-bladed grass, having a potty break, bringing him inside, giving them fresh water. But now I have a 2-year-old Vizsla, and that's a hunting breed. And so I know that that dog has a lot of pent-up energy. So I'm going to exercise that accordingly, or that dog accordingly. So
Mm-hmm.
also health conditions. You have a dog that has cancer or is diabetic or has, an immune deficiency. You're going to take that animal's health into consideration, regardless of whether or not it's a 2-year-old Vizsla or the 15-year-old pug.
I love it. See,
Thank you.
people, this is why you hire a wonderful, experienced pet sitter. Because
Absolutely.
every dog is different. Every single puppy, every single dog has its own jam. And by the way, can I steal the bumblebee walk thing? I kind
You
of like,
can. It's my
I love
bumblebees. I mean, how many times have you walked a dog and they're out there and you literally go 1 block in a half an hour because they are just like that
I
blade
love
of
it.
grass? And you know what? Honor it. I honor
I love it. I'm stealing it. I'm
them.
stealing
Yeah, my bumblebeers.
it. Well, so today we're talking all about heat, and you are kind of like the perfect person to talk to about heat because in Miami it's hot all the time. We have like maybe like 2 months of heat, and that's pretty like 2 months of like solid heat, and then it goes away, and it's pretty much whatever. And so for us, I think we're not as conscious of the heat as someone
Sure.
like you who you have to kind of deal with it, all the time. So I guess maybe we could start with, have you ever had a personal situation when it came to dealing with a dog like in heat or overheating? Have you ever had to deal
Yes.
with that issue before?
I've had it happen to me twice. Fortunately, neither one were clients' dogs or my own dog, but I was in the right place at the wrong time. And the
Mm,
one that sticks out for me the worst was I was hiking in Runyon Canyon. I lived in Los Angeles before I lived in Miami, and I was working out there, and we were hiking. And there was a gentleman on a hike with his lab. and he brought a 8-ounce bottle of water and thought it was fine. It was afternoon, and we saw him going up, and when we saw him coming back down, that dog could not walk. He was lethargic. He was salivating uncontrollably. His tongue was turning purple. That dog was in a lot of trouble, and we were able to get the dog down the mountain. We were able to give him proper care to stabilize him to get to the vet, but unfortunately that dog didn't make it. And it was a simple afternoon hike with his dad. And unfortunately, the owner wasn't paying attention to the dog's body language, which is something we'll talk about. And I guess I should just digress to that. There are two things that I tell people in pet care: set your dog up for success and know your dog's body language. Because I guarantee you that poor man's dog was signaling him, "Daddy, I'm tired. I'm over it. Let's turn around." And the dad was like, "No, come on, Chuck, let's go 5 more minutes." And unfortunately, he didn't make it.
What are some of those signals? Like, do all dogs kind of give the same signals, or are they different signals, like depending on the breed? Like,
good question. I think, just like I said, kids are different, dogs are different. And we as pet owners, we really know our animals. So I'll give you an example. I have a beagle. Her name is Ladybird, and Lady is 12. And when she has to go to the bathroom, she doesn't walk up to the door and scratch the door like some other dogs or ring a bell. She looks at us and she walks backward. It's the strangest thing. It's like, dude, like a little truck. But I know that's her signal that she has to potty, right? So and I've only known Lady for 3 years because she's my husband's dog that I have now. Now she's my dog. So it's the simple things of knowing your dog's body language. As pet sitters, I really believe that part of our job is to really get to know and have consistency with our clients' pets to know their body language. So if I'm exercising, I'm going to use just a Vizsla as my example. I have my client Nola at the park, and she's fetching and running and acting like, a crazy person because she's so happy to be there. I need to know what her cues are when she's tired. And some dogs are going to lie down. They're going to walk into the shade. They're going to drink so much water they can't control themselves. Their tongue's going to be sticking out of their mouth, and they're going to be salivating. Some of them, like my beagle, going back to Lady, she'll walk to the car. She's done. She's done. So you have to just know your audience.
That's so important. Yeah, it is true. Every dog's different. I have an English bulldog, and he just starts panting. He lays down. You can tell. And yeah, every dog is different. So it's and as pet sitters, I guess it is good. You have to know what you're dealing with.
Yes.
Every single situation is different. Wow. I cannot believe. Could you imagine going to take your dog for a walk on a hike and them just not making it?
It's
not
awful.
making it because of overheating. I never realized how serious the heat is when it comes to animals. It is a very, very serious thing.
Heat is dangerous. And what I have found here in Miami, it's summer all the time. And we, even during our winter months, we get 60-degree weather. Dogs can overheat really fast. And if you think about it, a dog's normal temperature roughly is about 102 degrees. And I call some of the dog, I have a thing called the weekend warrior. And that is the dog that goes to the park on the weekend. Is it conditioned to be there every day and just is, a kid in a candy store. And that dog sees its friends and is peeing and is fetching and is this and that. And after 30 minutes of what a conditioned dog may take an hour, that weekend warrior is just exhausted, but keeps pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And the owner isn't reading the signals. And now that dog is overheating and could potentially have a heat stroke. So you have to really, really be cognizant about what your breed is. Do they have any health issues? What's the weather like? Do you exercise your dog on a regular basis? Because like a human body, you adapt to the conditions, but you still need to read their body language.
Oh, that's so good. See, you're so smart, Nicole.
Thank you.
So I want to talk about something that I think can be, I guess you could say, quote unquote, controversial. I know a lot of people get a little um, finicky when talking about this subject, but it's super important. And you and I were talking about it before we went live, and I actually learned a lot about this issue before, just from you. So let's talk about dogs in cars.
Dogs
Dun,
and
dun,
cars.
dun.
Sounds like a rap video. Dogs and cars. Um,
Dogs and cars. What is the
cars.
deal with the dogs and the cars? Where do we start? Okay, so it's like, say it's 80 degrees outside and our dog's in our car and we have to go to the grocery store and we leave our dog in the car.
My first question is, why does your dog need to go with you to the grocery store? And I'm not trying to be hard. I'm being serious. You
Totally.
know, there are
Mm-hmm.
those people that their dogs go with them everywhere. And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I love those owners because their dogs are family. But let's
Mm-hmm.
say it's Sunday morning and I'm making my husband breakfast and I forget the coffee. And
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to the local grocery store and I think it's going to take 5 minutes. I have one item. I'm going to go through the fast checkout of 10 items or less. It's going to take me 7 minutes tops. And it's 80 degrees out and I leave my car off with the window open. 80 degrees. So I go in, I get the coffee, I get in line. The cash register is now being changed over for time shift. Add a couple minutes. The person in
Mm-hmm.
front of me has 11 items, not 10. Add a couple minutes.
That
You
never
know,
happens. I don't know
never
what you're
happens.
talking
The
about.
credit card machine doesn't take it because I put the credit card in wrong because I forgot to have a chip. Add another minute.
Mm-hmm.
Now your 7 minute trip is now 12 minutes. And in that time, your car has gone from 80 degrees to potentially 120 degrees. Now your dog's temperature, normally larger dogs, are about 102. That dog hits
Mm-hmm.
109, you're in heat stroke territory, which means liver malfunctions, heart malfunctions. They're everything. Their entire body will start to shut down. Kidney malfunctions, death. So to me, if you have to go to the store, don't bring your dog. Bring your dog in the car when you're going somewhere fun and you can take the dog with them. However, if you really have the need to do it, which a friend of mine taught me years ago, which I think is pretty funny, and I told you,
I love it.
she has a whiteboard and it would say, you know, Jackson and Bailey are very happy. Their song of choice today is Billy Joel's Piano Man. The air conditioning is set at 65 on full blast. Happy Sunday. And, then, it was kind of funny and the dogs were in there and the car was locked. But it also prevented, at least in Florida, from some person breaking the window because it's against the law to leave dogs in cars unmonitored. And you are rightfully so allowed to break a window to save a dog's life. So she made it work for her.
It's funny because I didn't even know what the law was in New Hampshire until you asked me today. I found out that we have the same law as well. So
Good.
I guess apparently it is legal for someone to go to your car and actually smash the window if the dog is inside the car, which, I know people are like, oh my God, I'm only running in for 5 minutes. It's totally fine. They're fine. They're fine. They're fine. Well, then, you come out, like you said, your trip can turn into from 5 minutes to 20 minutes. I know I've gotten lost in a Walmart for 45 minutes and I only meant to go grab one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you tend to forget. And I don't know. I know I'm personally, sometimes we're not as conscious of how hot it truly is outside. And your dog can die. Your dog can literally die.
But see, sorry, you had said something at the beginning about being in New Hampshire and that you guys only have heat or heated days for maybe 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
But how often do you turn your heat up in your house and you turn it to 80 degrees because you're freezing because it's -5 outside? You have to be cognizant of dogs in your house as well. They can pretty much deal with 80 degrees normally, but you've got to be careful. Heat in the car, heat outside. Dogs have a coat, a fur coat essentially. You just have to be really careful, and it's a horrible way for them to go.
My God. I didn't even think about the house situation. I was thinking cars, that's like the number one thing you think about, but your house too. Like where is your dog in your house when you leave? Is there an air conditioning unit in your house, in that part of the house? Is the house cool enough for them? Those are all things you really have to think about.
We have
Yeah.
people that leave their dogs here in their garages. And, fine if you have an air conditioning unit in the garage, but that's
Mm-hmm.
like, a concrete, just, coffin, if you think about
Yeah.
it.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
some people will say, I have dogs. I have a client with an English bulldog that he's in the air conditioning, and by his bed, he has a mini little fan. And, you have an English bulldog, they're like,
Yeah. Oh my
slobbery,
God.
sweaty little monkeys.
But we love
I know.
them.
They're fabulous.
They do not do good in the heat, unfortunately. So
No.
very conscious of it because I mean, even at like 65, he's like, he
Yes.
can't deal. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Poor guy.
okay, let's say, God forbid, oh my gosh, my dog is starting to overheat. I've recognized the signs. He's panting, his tongue's turning, So what should we do? Say our dog
Sure.
is, so what's the best step? What do we do? What happens?
What I would suggest is if you're out and your dog is starting to show signs of heat, overheating, or
Mm-hmm.
heat exhaustion, you want to get them inside as soon as possible. You want
Okay.
to get them in an air conditioning environment. If
Mm-hmm.
you're outside and you're at the park, put them in your car, crank up the
Okay.
air, make it cold. However,
Okay.
you don't want to make their body cold because you can cool them too fast. So you want to gradually decrease their temperature, but slowly. So if you could take their temperature, it would be great. You don't want to shock their body. So you want to offer them
So
water.
hosing them off with water,
Yes.
that's not good. That is
No.
not good.
Hosing them off with water is great, but not dousing them with ice, like throwing them in an ice bath, you wouldn't do.
Okay.
So what you want to do is hose them off, put them in air conditioning. You want to get towels with water, and you can place them in a little cooler water. You want to place it
Mm-hmm.
underneath their armpits and their inner thighs where their major arteries are, and cool them off on the back of the neck, on the top of the head. Offer them water, but in increments, because you don't want them to ingest it and now barf, which causes dehydration.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
you want to cool them off. If a dog gets to the point where they are lethargic, glossy eyes, throwing up, vomiting, incoherent, can't stabilize, or having seizures, that's
Mm-hmm.
heat stroke territory. You need to get them to the vet, because now those dogs need IV fluids and they need medical attention to decrease the temperature of their body. And now you're in serious territory.
Okay. Okay. Wow. It's just incredible to me how I don't know. I'm just like, I'm blown away when it comes to this topic because
It's a tough topic.
it really is. It really is. And I just didn't realize how dangerous the heat was. I really didn't. Now you had mentioned, and I'm going to totally not say this correctly.
Brachycephalic.
How do you say it?
Brachycephalic.
What is that?
Okay, so you should know this because you have one in your home.
I should know this. Okay.
You should know this. So brachycephalic means short head. So short head. So it's English Bulldogs, King Charles Cavaliers, Shih Tzus, Boxers, any dog with a pug, any dog with a short face. Those dogs are more have the propensity for overheating more than other dogs, like a greyhound or a Labrador Retriever, because their snouts are longer and their faces are longer.
Okay.
These dogs end up having respiratory issues, like their soft palates are longer. They sometimes they have esophagus issues where their esophaguses are more narrow, which causes the inability to breathe effectively. So now you have a pug or an English Bulldog outside. They have a long, extended short palate. Their esophagus is a little narrow. It's 100 degrees. They're playing. That's when they start making all the cute and funny, choo-choo train and snorting noises, when in actuality is a sign that they're struggling. So those are the dogs that, when we take those dogs into our care, they're, no matter who they are and how active they are and how healthy they are, their walks are definitely shorter than other dogs because of that propensity for overheating. I'll give you an example. We have a boxer that about 2 weeks ago, our summer heat really kicked up a notch. And one of our most active dogs, a boxer, within 7 minutes, he was showing signs of overheating. 7 minutes. And we were done. He was inside.
Yeah. Yeah. It can happen so fast. I know really that fast. With my English Bulldog, he is I still can't pronounce the word, but that's what he is. We'll take him out for, like, if we know it's going to be hot, we'll take him out like very first thing in the morning when it's still kind of cool, and he'll get his little walk. And then other than that, he's going out to go potty, and that's it for the rest of the day. Like, that's exactly they really can't handle it. Yeah, no. Yeah, they just can't handle it. Yeah, poor little pumpkin. Oh, pumpkin. So let's talk about, what are some things that we can do as pet owners to prevent this issue, to prevent heat stroke, to prevent any sort of heat problems? What are some things that we could do on our end?
I always recommend that first and foremost, exercise your dogs regularly so that their bodies are adapted to being able to exercise. I mean, just like people, if you've never exercised and you go outside to run 2 miles, you're going to hurt yourself. So regular exercise. Yeah. However, when you do exercise and it's really hot out, go in the early morning and go in the evening when the sun is down. If you're in an area like Miami where the sun is out all day long, walk outside, put the palm of your hand on the concrete, the palm, and determine whether or not it's hot. If it's hot for you, it's hot for your dog's paws. They sweat through their paws, and they sweat panting. So if it's too hot for you, don't walk them on the concrete. How many times have you seen at like festivals where dogs are kind of doing this? And when people are talking and they're standing on the concrete, it's because their paws are burning. Walk them on the grass.
Yeah. Yeah. They're burning.
Yeah. They're burning. They're literally, you'll see that the pet people are talking and you're at a festival or you're out somewhere and the dog's picking up their paws. Walk them on the grass. I always say, take a bottle of water with you. Offer them water. You may not think they need it. Keep them hydrated. Keep them, if you're going to take them to the park, limit their time out there to a half an hour instead of the full-blown hour. Just set them up for success. That's my main thing. Set them up for success.
That's so smart. We have to be the ones that really, they can't talk to us. So we have to be the ones that are responsible for them. I love the hand on the sidewalk. That is such an easy way to know how hot it is. If it's too hot for your hand, yeah, they have their little paw. I mean, that is such a great and easy and simple thing that anybody can do. That's great. I love that.
On that note, just so you understand the seriousness of the hand on the concrete, let's say it's 80 degrees out and it's a windy day in Miami, 80 degrees, it's cooler out, and you touch the asphalt, that could be 125 degrees because it's been sitting in direct sunlight all day. So just because it's 80 degrees out doesn't mean that the concrete is 80 degrees. So you have to be aware.
You are educating me, girlfriend.
Educate. Last what I would say is, especially in environments like Miami, exercise your dog in a pool, let it swim, but understand they can still overheat and over exercise, but put them in a pool, let them swim in the pool. It's cooler.
And it's fun too. Dogs if they like to
really
swim.
Fun.
Yeah, it's a blast. That's a great tip. I love it. Love it.
Thank you.
So I know there are some myths out there, I'm sure. I'm sure people say a lot of things and it kind of gets confusing, when we're talking about this issue. What would you
Hmm.
say is one of the most common myths when it comes to dogs and the heat?
I think the most common myth about dogs in the heat is shaving your dog into the cute lion cut in the summer.
Okay.
We've all seen and maybe more so in New Hampshire, the Siberian Husky or the St. Bernard or the Malamute, the Golden Retriever with the really
Mhm.
cute lion face and cute puffy tail and the body is shaved.
Yes.
And you'll ask the owner, what's the number one reason? It keeps Jackson cool or it decreases the shedding in the house.
Hmm.
And the myth about that is it actually is the opposite result, especially if a dog has two coats. Some dogs have
Hmm.
a double coat and some dogs have a single coat. And dogs like a Siberian Husky have a double coat because they're meant to be in colder climates. So if you
Okay.
shave the dog down, now you're smushing that coat onto the skin, and no airflow can get through the body between the skin and the hair. So the heat just becomes more dense, and you're not protecting the dog's body from the sun. So there was a diagram
Oh,
I sent you of a dog that
okay.
I don't have it. But I sent you a diagram, and it was basically a
Hmm.
dog that had the head with the lion coat and the
Hmm.
body shaved. And the head is like 72 degrees, but the body
Hmm.
was almost 90 degrees because there was
Oh
no
my God.
insulation. The double coat on the dog is now matted, and there's no insulation. So it's actually creating more heat for the body.
Oh,
One of the biggest
wow.
one of the biggest tricks I would tell people during the summer with dogs with coats like that is keep them brushed really well to move out that extra hair to create the flow for air and to cool them off.
Okay, that's perfect. And I do have that picture that you sent. So I'll actually put that in the show notes for everybody so they
Cool.
can see it. Or if they want it, I can actually like just email it. So if you guys want that picture, it's really, really, really cool. And we'll post it on our Facebook too. And
Yep.
you're so sweet for sending that because that has to be the most. I hear that all the time. Oh yeah, I gotta shave my dog so that he'll be cool. I
Hmm.
had no idea about this double coat issue, and that's really interesting. Really interesting.
On the double
I,
coat.
mhm.
So
No,
I'm
you're
getting an
fine.
echo, so I think that you stop. So sorry about that.
Oh no,
Um,
you're fine.
on the double coat, what happens is it grows back that much thicker. And think about a matted dog. So now
Hmm.
you're increasing the amount of fur on that body, which is now that much more condensed for airflow, which causes
I,
more heating. So rather than
oh,
shave the dog, just brush the dog out and have a groomer, do a monthly, whatever they call it, de-shedding or
yeah,
blow the
yeah.
coat out.
Hmm. You're so awesome, Nicole. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you for
Honestly,
having me.
yeah, like
I had
I
fun.
I personally learned so much from this. And I know I'm going to make all of my pet sitters watch this. It's like it's going to be mandatory
Oh
that
wow!
everybody
Hey,
watches this video because you
hi.
have so much great information. I mean, really invaluable information that could potentially save a dog's life. I mean, we're talking this is life-saving for our furry guys. And so
Hmm.
I know I personally want to thank you. I know my audience is getting a lot of value out of this. So, really, truly, thank you for coming on our little show. And we really, 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 really appreciate it. You're
Well, I
awesome.
really appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. This was
Yeah.
awesome.
So, how can people find you? What's the best way to find any kind of stuff you got going on? Do you have like a
Sure.
blog and stuff?
I do. They can reach us at miamipetconcierge.com. They can also
Okay.
reach us on Facebook, Miami Pet Concierge. And if anyone ever wants to reach out to me directly or has any questions, they can reach me at Nicole at miamipetconcierge.com.
Oh, you're so great. Well,
Thank
I hope.
you.
What's the weather like in Miami right now?
Of course, today it's crystal clear and beautiful and not raining. And we had a photo shoot yesterday and it stormed on us all day. So It's finally clear. It's been raining for 2 weeks straight. The summer, in
Oh, it
today's starts,
has?
it has 2 weeks straight. It's been a bummer.
Oh.
But
Well,
today,
enjoy the sunshine today.
today's hurricane season begins today.
Oh, it
What?
does.
Yeah, June
Oh, that's
1st.
like a whole other thing you got to deal with,
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Hurricane season.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we could talk about the
I
weather all
know.
day.
So much.
You too, Nicole. Have a great
Bye.
day. Enjoy the
You too.
day. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Bye.